Case comes to a close in the Detroit corruption saga. Bobby Ferguson, former city contractor and longtime friend of Kwame Kilpatrick, sentenced to 21 years in prison.
7 investigator Heather Cataldo has been on this case from the very beginning. And Heather, you've seen Ferguson so many times in court. What struck you about seeing him today after being gone for a while?
Well, for the first time, we really got to see some raw emotion from him. Bobby Ferguson walked into court smiling, and he even seemed upbeat when he was handcuffed and led away after the sentencing. But he did get emotional as he addressed the judge, talking about God and reading from the Bible.
21 years in federal prison for Bobby Ferguson, citing the millions of dollars Ferguson made by exploiting his friendship with former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. The judge told the 44-year-old that the atmosphere of corruption he helped create in the city hurt the citizens. A jury convicted Ferguson and Kilpatrick in March on racketeering, bribery, and extortion charges. The feds called Ferguson the muscle and the money for the criminal enterprise. Judge Nancy Edmonds said she could have given Ferguson as much as 30 years in prison. She took him to task for obstructing justice and threatening other city contractors, and used a quote from federal prosecutors saying Bobby Ferguson was the catalyst of an unprecedented extortion scheme. Lawyer Gerald Evelyn told the judge the man he's known for the past 10 years has made a change in his life.
He's at peace with it. He's at peace with it. He made peace with the sentence before he even got sentenced today.
Today, Ferguson surprised even his legal team when he decided to address the court, speaking about God and reading Bible passages to the judge. Ferguson's soon-to-be ex-wife and daughters watched as he fought back tears. He said, "I've been a man of few words because everything has been interpreted to be the way the government wanted it to be." Ferguson also slammed the criminal justice system and spoke about how many young African-American men are locked up. He did not say he was sorry, nor did he talk specifically about the racketeering case.
He gave praise to God for the blessings for his children and his grandchildren. He gave thanks to God for the blessings that he's received in his life, and he didn't ask for anything for himself. But in terms of apologizing and anything, we got another trial to get ready for. So there's nothing, there's nothing to apologize for at this point.
In the end, Judge Edmonds gave Ferguson 20 years for the racketeering and extortion convictions, plus an additional year for the bribery conviction from the $75,000 he once gave to the Kilpatrick Civic Fund.
You've been with Mr. Ferguson a long time. How are you doing on this day as he goes to prison for 21 years?
It's a tough situation. The final chapter hasn't been written yet, but it's a tough situation. Myself and Ms. Van Dusen and Mr. Rattay, we put our heart and soul into this case, and so it's obviously troubling. Some people will say that it could have been worse, but the reality is that it's still significant.
Ferguson's lawyers do plan to appeal this case, and because he has that retrial on the separate bid rigging case coming up in January, the U.S. attorney is not commenting on Ferguson's sentence today.
So what about all of the money that Ferguson made in those contracts? I mean, are they asking for restitution from him now?
Yes, they are. That still has to be decided, though. The feds are asking that about $6.2 million be forfeited. They have also asked for restitution from both Ferguson and Kilpatrick, but those issues will be decided at separate hearings in the future. But of course, with an appeal, that could put some of that on hold.
I know the FBI also has to find that money, and they don't know exactly where that might be.
Well, they have also seized a great deal already, assets, so they do have a lot of it.
And still on the hunt. All right, thanks a lot, Heather, for that report and all of your reports.
Thank you.